Those who were strong enough to survive in a wasteland evolved into villagers. This is just one of the 8 creepy Minecraft mysteries we're debunking, from the beginning of villagers to Endermen being corrupted players and even something secretly watching you. But the story starts here, from this user on Reddit, who's talking about the origin of what we know and love as the Minecraft villager. Now, this is obviously a massive write-up, and you can pause the video and read it all if you would like to, but the main point I want to pull from this is right here. The remnants of the ancient builders became the villagers. Those who were strong enough to survive in the wasteland evolved into the villages. Now, when you start to think about it, it actually kind of makes sense. Over the last couple of years and several Minecraft updates, more and more little Easter eggs and hints have been added to villages to suggest that there is an ancient theory behind them. And one of the most interesting things that I've always found about villages is that they've never truly evolved. They kind of stayed stagnant, as if when Minecraft was first happening, the creation of the game was something similar to the time where dinosaurs were killed, that they may have just learned to live on their own but never evolve. But why have outposts and pillagers grown so much? Obviously, illagers are a direct tie to villagers. Potentially, illagers could have been a part of the village once and maybe wanted to break free and have their own civilization, which is where they spawned in from. I mean, not only do they live in a crazy big mansion, or they have the iconic chicken jockey fighting pen, but they have powers that are significantly stronger than any villager ever. Personally, in my opinion, I'm convinced that illagers and pillagers are what was first the players of Minecraft. And the villagers we know and love now are quite simply the survivors of the end of Minecraft's time. And the illagers are also a set of survivors, but survivors that evolved drastically. I mean, look at this. They have flying defenses. It'd be like the Iron Golems grew wings, bro. Now, if you thought that was weird, this doesn't compare anywhere as near to the Endermen as corrupted players. All right, so I have this all written down here, but essentially, a Redditor on this post, which I'll show you in a moment, theorizes that Endermen are corrupted ancient builders affected by the unstable end portal. Now, I don't want to just be some conspiracy Andy or something, but this post right here has been active for over 6 years. And I mean, this goes deep, even as deep as talking about Herobrine in the ancient civilization of the builders, which, don't worry, we're actually going to get into this in just a moment. So if I click Control F and I search up the end portal, you can see all the times that somebody has brought up the word, the end portal. And the one I'm really looking for is this one right here. The end portal may instead be some sort of time machine or wormhole. Think about it. It is a spacey pattern, sends them far, far into the future where the world is destroyed. And all that left is barren floating rocks of burned stone, black pillars with healing crystals, a corrupted dragon, and leftover cities that haven't been stripped for resources. And quite frankly, it actually all makes sense. Everything in the overworld is what we know and love as the world itself. And when you go to the Nether, it's where things start getting a little bit creepy and a little bit demonic. And the end is where, well, notice how nothing is ever touched in the end. I mean, us players obviously go to ravage it and take resources, but overall, it's as if the end was at some point a time traveling world. And in my notes here, we have suggested that Endermen literally have human speech for its voice lines. Like, actually. So if I spawn an Enderman here, okay, now obviously we all know how Endermans sound, right? Endermans have like 3 or 4 different audio cues when they're talking like this. They have their neutral ones when they're just standing here. They have ones when they're punched, and they have ones when they're aggroed when you're staring directly at them. But I've always wanted to know what that Redditor said is true. The audio lines from an Enderman are actually a person. What are inside of those audio lines that might perhaps bring us to a better conclusion? Now, although it's impossible for me to pull the raw audio files of what the Endermen were saying, everything else in this Reddit is actually pretty spot on. How would a civilization like this even know to build the end portal? I mean, perhaps it was at one point something that was used as time travel. I mean, the lore of Minecraft goes deep. It's the reason we make these videos in the first place. And when we go to the end itself, I mean, it is exactly what the Redditors say. It's the only mobs you find here are ones that exist in this world, aka Enderman or the Ender Dragon or Shulkers, for instance. In fact, something with the end portal that is really interesting from the Reddit post is here. The end portal is a reality fold that melded dragon times and a time that builders are in. This reality fold corrupted them. suggesting that at one point everything was in the overworld, but corrupted it and forced it into multiple different worlds. It's the reason you only ever find the dragon here. But you notice about the dragon, he's not all that endy. I mean, yes, he is called the Ender Dragon, but really, what would stop the Ender Dragon from being in the overworld? There's hundreds of dragon mods, and they don't seem out of place. Whereas an Enderman, the moment you see an Enderman, even the first time you ever saw one, they look out of this world. They don't look like any other mob that you would find in the overworld. So, at some point, could the villagers or the Endermen or even the beginning players of the game suggest that the Endermen were once any of these entities? Well, it's possible. Now, if you thought the Enderman theory was creepy, this next one might have you rethinking Minecraft entirely. You're not the first player. Again, I want you to hear me out when I say this. You are not the first player. And this is an actual conspiracy theory that is blown up all over Reddit. Now, I'm just going to summarize it here. A Reddit post suggests you, the player, once lived in the builder civilization, but the rest of them died, and you were the only survivor. And there's actually a massive Reddit right here talking about this. In fact, there's actually a vote where the #1 ranking poll with over 680 votes believe that I think the player is a builder with amnesia, which is pretty insane. I mean, this is, again, another massive write-up here. And on the surface, I would think, okay, you know what? This is probably pretty far-fetched, but you know what kind of concrete solidifies that this is actually possible, in my opinion, is these villages. See, these dead villages are told to be overran by zombies. But if they were overran by zombies, this entire place would have just simply been housed by zombie villagers, no differently than if it was with a regular village. And what makes it even weirder is the fact that this is a recent update. I mean, more recent in regards to when villages were introduced into Minecraft. Having an abandoned village like this is a kind of a new concept. The player that I act as right now, me and you when you're playing the game, are we just simply players that were a part of this once a civilization of builders, but we just simply forgot it? And now as players, we're just living through the builder's dream by building our world to the way that we want it to be. I mean, it's possible, and I can see how that theory backs up too. It does make all that sense. And I think with having a village like this, a completely overthrown, overrun village, makes it a lot more believable, like something like this is actually possible. And you might think that was pretty insane, but this one gets even deeper. The Nether in the end represents the overworld's past and future. Now, this post essentially says the following. A Reddit post suggests the Nether represents the overworld's distant past, drawing parallels with Earth's early history. And if I go ahead and Control F and I search up the Nether right here, the Nether is the overworld, but in the far distant past, a time when the overworld was in a violent, chaotic state with high amounts of geological activity, creating massive lava flows and volcanoes. Arguably a very similar state to what happened with the dinosaurs and the extinction, which is why every single time we go to the Nether, well, the Nether is literally the hell version of the overworld. There's fire, there's lava, there's evil mobs that try to kill you, there's gas, there's all these sorts of things here. So potentially the Nether could have been what was once the overworld, or perhaps there was one entire world entirely, but this is now considered the extinction of it. I mean, what was once a thriving and living world is now this hell in Minecraft. Now, that one's a little bit far-fetched, but this one is genuinely terrifying. You can actually run into invisible mobs such as a spider whose eyes were the only thing visible as a creeper explodes behind me. I'm actually shaking. So this user on Reddit essentially made a report that invisible mobs are watching you, and they said this is done while playing hard mode. Not hardcore, but hard mode. Now, invisible mobs is pretty far-fetched, but it's happened before. And if you have ever experienced anything creepy, scary, or unsettling in your Minecraft world, you need to let me know down below in the comment section, because I'm going to be personally reading every single comment from today's video. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. All right, so I want to actually take a look at this. I'm really genuinely curious to see if this is something that we can either duplicate or replicate in the game. Firstly, though, we need to debug a little bit here. I want to grab an invisibility potion and just a normal spider, because I'm pretty sure already. Okay, so the spider's eyes are visible, but in the screenshot that we looked at, these eyes are a little bit more transparent, it looks like. These ones are a lot more vibrant. Like you can't see them. They're not hollow. So I think the best way for me to test this is to change the difficulty to hard, spawn in essentially thousands of spiders to see if we can land an invisible one. Okay, so I've spawned in a bunch of mobs now. Bunch of spiders here. Some have particle effects, which are quite interesting. I actually have no idea what that even is. Is it a speed potion? I didn't know spiders could spawn with speed effects on them. That's odd. I noticed another spider. Here it is right here. This one also has a potion effect on them that was naturally spawned. Didn't know that was possible. Now, out of all the spiders I've spawned, 0 of them are invisible. But you'll notice in that screenshot, it was actually taken at nighttime. So perhaps this is something that they transition throughout the night. I just want to see if this is something that maybe we'll catch a glimpse of, or if it's something that's even possible. But again, it's so far-fetched that you really don't know. So far, I'm not seeing anything. They're all just normal spiders. Huh. The invisible mobs thing is certainly interesting. I've had my fair share of weird instances happening in a world, but an invisible spider is not something I don't think I've seen that before. Now, I'm actually going to wait and test this a little bit longer just to see if we capture something on camera. But in the meantime, let's move on to our next myth and stick around because we're going to get a solution to this one at the end. So what exactly is the Warden guarding? You know, good question. This Warden is this new powerful mob that was introduced just a couple versions ago, and it's pretty good. Obviously, if you don't use any exploits or glitches to kill it fast, to kill it in survival can actually be very difficult, and I think we all know that. But what is it guarding? It's so powerful. It has an entire tomb around it, an entire base underground, its own city, its own monument. But why? See, this user in this entire post suggests the following. The cities were clearly built with wardens in mind, laid out like prisons. If I go into an ancient city all the way down here, I mean, what they're saying in that Reddit post is true, essentially suggesting that the warden, the mob that essentially is housed here and lives here, has an entire prison all around them with its own sanctuary, its own base, its own thing to keep it trapped and locked up in here. And again, I would think this is just another far-fetched riddle, but this is what makes me question everything. I mean, whatever's intention designed this behind the scenes was extremely intelligent. It understood redstone, it understood how to work mechanics and how to work doors. I mean, this was intentional. This was done here as if they were actual players building something in the game, but it's not. This portion of the game is actually part of Minecraft, and it's part of the ancient city. The Warden being a relatively newer entity and it being surrounded by all of this landmass, we'll call it. Could this landmass be an encampment or a prison the Warden is just simply housed in? Because at the end of the day, what is the Warden actually guarding in the first place? Now, aside from this spider jockey just doing apps by just spinning all over there, so far, I have not seemed to have found any spiders with invisible eyes. But again, I could be completely wrong. And if it's something that you've witnessed in your world before, I need you to let me know down below in the comment section. But go and click anywhere on the screen to go and watch one of my next videos, because this is not the last time that we are investigating Minecraft's most unsettling mysteries.